Hi guys, it's Reagan and welcome to the start of a very fall-oriented reading vlog. That's right, we are officially diving headfirst into the vibey reading vlog category. I'm going to be reading and tackling a very popular witchy read, and also in this vlog we are decorating for fall. Don't get me wrong, I've started in some places, but we are pulling out the rest of the fall decor and we're gonna put it up and get all cozy and have a great time together. So without further ado, let's go ahead and chat about the book I hope to read over the course of this vlog. So the book I hope to read from beginning to end over the course of this video is Ink, Blood, Sister, Scribe by Emma Torres. I've heard such good things about this book since it came out last year. It centers two estranged half-sisters who have this family legacy of protecting this library full of magical books. Obviously, magical books can bring dangerous things, and this resulted actually in the passing of their father and some unexpected circumstances, and I think the sisters have to come back into each other's life to take on like a larger threat. The book itself also takes place in Vermont, and just like the overall concept of magical books, I feel like this is going to have a very interesting family component, which I'm really looking forward to learning more about. I've also heard fantastic things about the writing style, so I really feel like this is going to be a book that I'm not only going to enjoy, but I also feel like it will be perfect for the season. So I'm so looking forward to reading this novel and chatting about it with you guys. So welcome. Let's get started. It's lunchtime, folks, and today we're going with the house classic adult Lunchables. I don't even fully know have. We have apples. Apples. We also have lots of carrots, so pick up some of those. Hummus. I have cheese somewhere. I have some eggs back there. And that should be everything. Oh, I have the best crackers. I love these so much. They're like little toasted bread slices. I mean, they're just like croutons, essentially. I could eat a million of them. Hi, I just had a stressful phone call where I had to stick up for myself and my house to like a technical trade that I have no experience in, but I had all the right information. Something's wrong. The company who did it said nothing's bad. I got a second opinion. The second company was like, this company screwing you. You gotta call and be serious. So I just called and I was very serious. We have an appointment tomorrow to get it fixed, but the come down, oh my God, I just wanted to cry. I hate being serious over the phone. But I did it. I wasn't like yelling or anything, obviously, but I was just holding my ground. I was firmly communicating all of the reasons why the situation is not actually okay. And here we are. But anyway, I'm now gonna make myself a nice cup of tea because I deserve it. And I'm gonna sit down and do some reading of my book, Ink, Blood, Sister, Scribe. So I'm actually so excited to pick it up. And actually, I also got new tea to try. I got this Stephen Smith tea maker, British brunch tea, which I'm pretty sure is just like a black tea. And I'm so looking forward to it. I'm now, ever since our last conversation about shrinkflation too, I always check how much the packaging says is supposed to be in a container versus how much is actually in the container, because there's so many discrepancies I've started to realize nowadays. And also, just to carry off the back of my information gathering, a big information gatherer these days, you know there's other types of corporate greed besides just like shrinkflation that's like a huge problem right now. One of them is called like surveillance pricing, meaning companies are using your data to either change prices throughout the day to maximize how much they think you will pay for something, or like Uber in Belgium got caught for charging more for a ride if your battery on your phone is low. Bananas. There's also skimpflation, where they change the ingredients in something and not disclose it, making the product maybe cheaper to produce, but they don't pass those savings on. They keep the cost the same, but also are maybe not super upfront with the change in quality of their product. Drip pricing, where there's all those unknown fees. I'm talking to you, Ticketmaster. Basically, there's so many different ways we're screwed. And that's why we need to grant the FTC more power, because it's kind of like almost a monopoly busting situation because everyone's doing it. And I know Ticketmaster is currently like being investigated by the FTC. So hopefully some of these other things that companies are doing post 2020 will start to be like prevented from continuing to do, because it's all very disingenuous and sketchy, if I'm being honest. Good news. Stephen Smith Tea Maker did not lie about how many tea sachets are in their packaging, so shout out to them. Enough of this. I'm gonna have a cup of tea and go read. I think I need to bring down my cortisol levels before I get cortisol face. Just kidding, just kidding, just kidding. That's a nice tea sachet. Halloween mug. I'm gonna go settle down, reading update. Then we're gonna go pivot into an activity that I'm so excited about, and that is decorating for fall. So anyway, that's what we're gonna do. I was successful in sticking up for myself, and that's what matters, dang it. So anyway, I'm gonna let my tea steep. Hi guys, I've just been sitting here reading Ink Blood Sister Scribe, and I have read a quick 50 pages of this book. And honestly, this book has gripped me right away. I was expecting something vibey, but I'll say the writing quality and also the darkness and intensity of the book is definitely more than I was anticipating going in. So all that to say is I've been very pleasantly surprised by the intro of this book. So far, it is a dual perspective story that's also just so dynamic in its approach. This is a story following two half-sisters, Esther and Jo, and they were incredibly close growing up, but for the past 10 years, Esther has been estranged from the family, moving to a new place year in and year out, never really coming home ever again. It's obviously really strained Esther and Jo's relationship. There's something really significant as part of this book, and that is that this family has been kind of overseeing this collection of magical books. And it's kind of like their family legacy to maintain this library and protect it from people who maybe want to use it for unjust means, if you will. And Jo has been dutifully doing this in Vermont in the family home now 4 years. And 2 years prior to the start of this novel, their father actually passed away in a rather dramatic fashion, holding a magic book that Jo has never seen before, and she doesn't know why this book killed her father, and her father also left her an incredibly cryptic message. Fast forward to present day, we're now reading from the perspectives of both of these sisters, and it's working so well because, as you would anticipate in any family saga, people are withholding information and feelings from each other, making situations complicated. But luckily, as a reader, we get insight into both of their thoughts and feelings, so we can really yearn for their reuniting and them hashing it out. The story really kicks off in an intense fashion. We follow Esther in Antarctica, and she is basically being like chased by people, and that's partially why she has to move from place to place every single year. But she feels like she needs to suddenly return home again for the first time. And I think this has to do with like their father's passing and the sort of mystery surrounding that. I'm really captivated by the writing style. It's intense, it's eerie, it's atmospheric. I love that we're reading from both of these sisters' points of views. I also feel like it keeps the plot really compelling because we're jumping from two different locations, motivations, and it provides us with like more information. I'm not sure if this is only going to be a dual POV story or if we're going to be meeting other characters too, but as someone who's just recently read a book centering magical books that people wanted and would do anything to achieve, This book feels like it's leaning more in the direction of my vibe versus the other book I just never felt fully connected to. These characters feel very tangible to me. I feel and understand their emotions, unpacking their family trauma with them. Like, it's just like a really well-constructed book so far with a great, very fast-paced start. So I'm so excited to read more of this book. But now I think I'm gonna do a little bit of decorating, starting with this library room. I've already started, as I'm sure you've seen in some videos, with some pumpkins, but I have much more. So it's time for us to get started, and I thought we could do that together before dinner, you know? So for this area, as I've already mentioned, we have the pumpkin decor, so I thought I would just add in some of my seasonal pillows that I've collected over the years. So I have this big orange one from Target. I thought I'd add this small pumpkin from Pottery Barn, and then my favorite big pumpkin also from Pottery Barn. I mean, look how cute, it's a little jack-o'-lantern. Adorable. I'll move this out of the way so you can see. Ah, charming. So probably my favorite thing to decorate is the mantle, and I got a few new pieces. First, I got these timer fake battery-operated candles because I feel like they'll add some good ambiance. But most exciting is I got these glass pumpkins that go over the candle lights from Anthropology this year. Obsessed. So I'm gonna just throw these on top. I mean, do you see? Do you see the ambiance? Down below, I'm just gonna fill this in with some artificial pumpkins. I am a pumpkin decor girly. They're my favorite thing to buy. This, and then I have this. But I also have these battery operated candles, which again, I just feel like add a little ambiance. Like, am I about to run a seance? Maybe. And then lastly, I added Gus Gus, the ghost pumpkin pillow. Have you seen this close up before? It's so cute. Matilda keeps trying to play with him, but he's a pillow, alas. Alrighty, so the cozy front room library vibes are officially clocked in. Here are the different views at play. Love it. I've already had decor up in my kitchen now for a little while, but I thought I'd just walk you guys through it. I have this little dried leaf collection I made from a larger one. I have a bunch of candles. Always. And then over here I have like this coffee bar situation. So I have these mugs, which I always switch out. I have a cute plate, a little cheese board, some coffee, my tiny little pumpkin Le Creuset. And these are new. They're little seasonal glasses from Anthropology. I have a mushroom one and a leaf one. I feel like that's maybe all the energy I have for today for decorating, but I'm gonna do the dining room and the TV room tomorrow. So I'll keep you guys along for the ride for that as well. But I do need to make dinner here soon, which I'm excited for because we're making more pasta. Yum. Unexpected rainstorm has entered the chat, which is truly going to give the best vibes for reading my book later. Right now, it's all about listening to Sabrina Carpenter's new album and making some pasta to enjoy. So let's get cooking. It's time to claim the last of this coffee from Clay. Cheers. And it's also time to do a reading update of of Inkblood Sister Scribe. I'm on page like 150 of this book, and I'm so happy to say I'm really liking it. It's definitely different than I was anticipating, in a good way. I feel like there is a lot of different and interesting things going on. I think the last check-in I sort of described that this is two sisters, Esther and Jo. They were really close, they're now separated. They're a part of a family that has a large collection of magical books. Esther has to leave and travel from place to place every single year. They have a complicated relationship with each other. They also have a complicated relationship with their mother for a variety of reasons. And their father left this sort of like lore and mystery behind too, that sort of makes his death mysterious and unclear to everyone involved. Basically, to sum it up, there are a lot of secrets at play, and just trying to parse people's motivations together has been quite interesting. Outside of that family and those family dynamics, we've also been introduced to another character named Nicholas, and he, like Esther and Jo, is not only surrounded by a bunch of magical books, but a really huge and powerful one. Like, his family has been collecting books for like 500 years. They're super rich, and Nicholas lives a very confined life because his blood can be used to write new magical books, which is like groundbreaking information. And he begins to also try to parse out secrets of his family, of his uncle, what is happening, which is sort of blurring the lines of the story altogether. There's definitely an element of just like, what is going on? Who can we trust? Where do we go from here? Vibes to this. The writing style is really engaging, dark, a little hypnotic. The author also knows when to drop like a nugget of information, and because we're now reading from a variety of perspectives that kind of have their own primary storyline, it creates these sort of parallel story experiences that feel connected, and there's like a level of intensity in each one. So constantly we're dealing with like a mini cliffhanger in each one before we shift to another. And that also has just made this book like super propulsive to get through. Trying to understand and unpack like the history of these books, the motivations of people who want to collect them and use them for things. And there's clearly just like a lot of information about them that has not necessarily been disseminated. I think Jo and Esther as characters are really interesting, just as young women who are like trying to survive. They have a lot of family expectation put on them from their father in terms of how they have to move and maneuver through this world and the types of things they have to give up on behalf of this library. For what, you know? And I feel like that is interesting too. The balance between like a thriller, conspiracy, magical situation, captivating, but also there's fascinating family dynamics at play too. Like, can you trust the ones you love? Are they using you? Is it okay that they're using you? Like, these types of questions. It's just making it very engaging. Definitely a good fall read for sure, just like topic wise and all of that. But I'm reading this book super quickly and I can't wait to read more. Ray and I are out and about treating ourselves to a tasty pickup lunch at one of our favorite places. We're hoping they're not sold out because it's very popular, but you just never know. We got here earlier this time, so crossing our fingers. Yeah, the miso cheese. All right, we bought a lot of stuff because last time everything was sold out, so I think we had scarcity mindset. We bought a strawberry whipped cream sandwich to have as a treat later, so this goes in the fridge. Scrumptious. We bought a collection of salmon rolls to share. I got the miso cheese tonkatsu sandwich. Clay got the classic tonkatsu sandwich. And then there's some sides on the inside. Bon appetit. Hi guys, it's the next day and I wanted to do a reading check-in for Inkblood Sister Scribe. I'm a little over 50% of this book and I have to say this book is so engaging. It's definitely more thriller leaning than I was anticipating when I first picked this book up for this vlog. I thought it was gonna be more like vibey, magical library, magical books, but the component of these books being powerful and people wanting these books, and there is clearly a figure who will do anything to get these books at the expense of a lot of our main characters, is definitely pretty center stage. And there's so much misinformation and missing information that our characters are experiencing, and therefore the reader is also experiencing. And something that Emma Torres does that makes it super gripping is that we will get a piece of information, but only one character will get it, or our characters, by nature of them being in all different locations, having lived different lives, knows different pieces of information from each other. So like as a reader, we have a slightly larger picture of what's going on that our characters don't see, because obviously we're reading from multiple perspectives. But it's very engaging, and I'm like, whoa, 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 cannot put this book down. I'm also really liking how there's this level of urgency and our characters are sort of constantly on the move, and I can't wait to see how they're going to come together and how that story is going to fit. And what I thought was going to be kind of more of like a small town magical library in like Vermont story, which it definitely is, there's a larger like international aspect to this book too, which is like very cool. All that to say is like I'm really hooked and intrigued by this narrative story. I don't want to say too much about the plot because I don't want to spoil anything, but I feel like it's balancing this sort of like page turner-esque espionage, secrets, powerful people with lots of money situation with characters that are really likable and are also dealing with like complex feelings to family for their own reasons. So I like the sort of interpersonal character journey and reflection element of this, and the thriller element. And all of the characters we're reading from are also super likable. Obviously we have Esther and Joe, and we also have this third character, Nicholas, and they're all like very likable, all having to deal with lots of different things at the moment. And I'm just so curious to see how the rest of this book is going to unfold and how things are going to come together, because it's like very, 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 very fast paced, like such a page turner. I am so, so, so excited about it. So my hope is I'll be able to finish this today. I have about 200, a little less than 200 pages left. So if I'm focused and I have the time, I definitely think I can do that, because once you pick it up, it's hard to put down. But I gotta be productive and get some other stuff done first. So this will be the perfect carrot to keep me going. You know what I mean? About to go hard with this reading snack. I'm gonna sit down now and see how far I can get before I'm gonna break to make dinner. But I sped through all my stuff today. So hopefully I'm gonna be able to finish this book. I have high hopes, and I also just like wanna know what's gonna happen. It's so intense. All right, I am truly speeding through the last 50% of this book. Look how much I have left. The build up, the tension, the setup of everything was really engaging, but now that we're kind of in the home stretch, things are starting to connect and the plot is really starting to take off. It's very, very, very hard to put down. I am just hooked on this book. I got a lot of comments saying that the audiobook of this was great. I haven't listened to it, but I can see by how it's written and kind of some of the character interactions, I can see how that would be true. I also love that the author finds time for other beats of emotion alongside the sort of mystery thriller. There's moments of friendship, there's moments of humor, there's reconciliation, there's just like emotional conversations that just have, you know, more dimension to them that I feel like this book maybe could have had, and that I appreciate too. It just makes for like a richer story experience, and I find myself like rather attached to all the characters in this book, like outside of the plot elements of it just being like fast paced and I want to know what in the world is going on. I actually find myself like caring for the characters and hoping for the best for them, especially given a lot of the complex relationships and sort of the various family traumas they've all experienced separately, collectively, that type of thing. But yeah, I am totally finishing this today. I had to stop myself from finishing it right now. I'm in the last section of this book and I want to know what's happening, but I need to go do some other stuff. So like make dinner and all those things. So that's what I'm going to do. But yes, this is so good. Excuse the double filming setup, but I'm in pajamas and we're making some turkey chili tonight. One of my favorite quick dinners, because not only is it pretty fast to come together, but it also reheats perfectly. And my bowl of chili is ready to eat. It is transparently past my bedtime, but I'm about to go sit down and do some reading. I got watching that Secret Lives of Mormon Wives show on Hulu. It is bananas. Like, so much wilder and weirder than I could have ever anticipated. And that's coming from someone who watches a lot of reality TV. But it's now time to see how this book ends. And I'm so pumped. I'm so pumped. So I'm staying up a little late tonight. Hi guys, and welcome to the end of the vlog. The next day, I'm so happy to report I have finished Inkblood Sister Scribe, and oh my gosh, that final plot sequence was like riveting, unexpected, like so much happened. I really want to continue to emphasize how much more thriller leaning this was than I was anticipating. I was kind of expecting this to be like a vibey, slower read about sisters and their sort of complicated relationship, and it definitely had those elements, but had a much more intense conspiracy, let's say, at the heart of this book that just kept me flipping the pages in a way that I was not anticipating. Overall, I would say this book was quite successful in balancing its different plot elements. I felt really attached to the characters, their individual journeys, their various relationships, and the dynamics that were sort of explored in this. I really appreciated the sort of centering of family and how complicated love and family can be, and how just because someone loves you doesn't necessarily mean they're treating you how they should be treating you, and how there can be cyclical trauma within families, and how various characters are kind of reconciling that within their own lives. And all of that is paired with like such a breakneck plot. I mean, this book opens up on sort of setting the stage of how quick this plot was going to move and did not slow down at one single second while reading this book. I mean, left, right, and center, crazy stuff was happening that kept me on the edge of my seat. I think maybe my only complaint was the final sort of plot movement maybe could have been a little bit longer. But overall, I would say I really enjoyed this book, and I was really entertained through and through, and this felt just like the perfect magical witchy thriller read for the fall season, and I would definitely recommend this. So yeah, that's the end of my reading vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed this video, and I will see you soon with another one soon. Goodbye!